we now have Warner sessions, 2 in a row. Number 1, we have Mortal Kombat Beyond the Outworld. We're going to have Arthur Ribas, Alan Speed Silva, and Buiú. We're going to talk about the pro competition. They are going to tell us about their relationship with Mortal Kombat and how each one of them did until they reached the rank of casters for the Latin American League. They are also going to talk about how the game has grown and gained more and more fans in Brazil and around the world, in addition to its relevance in the entertainment world. We will talk a little bit about preparation, training routines, and the life of top athletes in the world of games. We have simultaneous translation into English. We have Arthur Ribas, Alan Speed, Buiú, Conqueror, Gui Exceptional, and Killer Schnock. What up, everyone? Good morning. My name is Arthur Ribas, and I am a show host for Warner Play. I'm really happy to be here with gaming professionals and everyone who loves games in the Brazilian industry. And I've been at this event from the beginning. Since 2012, I've been covering indie games, and now I'm here to talk about Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. We're going to talk about this beloved universe, which I do love and you love too. I know you have a history with this game, and it is our 11th version, the ultimate version now. We've got some history. Today, we're going to talk about people who do things and make things happen in this universe. We're going to talk about professional casters and the biggest pro players in Brazil and also representing the country abroad. Let's see who we have here today. Here we have two guys who are always making our Sunday afternoons more interesting with the Latin League. And the Latin League is going heavy at MK11 Ultimate. We're talking about Buiú and Speed. Hi, Arthur. Hi, Speed. Let's talk about MK11. Great. This is going to be awesome. Thank you for having me. Right on. If you love MK11 Ultimate, you know these guys, and you've known them for a long time because we have a lot of broadcasts for the Latin League. But let me say a few things before you start speaking, because we have a lot of people going into the universe of MK11. Speed, tell us a little bit about your journey thus far. Oh, I have a lot to share, but let me summarize it. I've been playing Mortal Classic, Mortal 3, Mortal Trilogy since the 90s. And I started playing MK11 and met a lot of people. And I started getting into casting for these games and commentating, and I've received amazing support. This is what I do right now. Great. We have a three-way conversation here. It's your time now, Buiú. You used to be an amazing pro player, and people love your casting. Tell us a little bit about your journey. Well, I started playing in 2012 competitively, and I think everyone has played, right? In arcades, I've ran away from arcade stores. I've played a lot, but I was playing competitively in 2012 and 2013. I started traveling all over Brazil. I owned a team at some point. I was working with these kinds of games. But MK was the turning point for me. That's when I really got interested in organizing these events and participating in these events. And casting was like a package for me because we needed people to cast. And I didn't have anyone to do it, so I started doing it just because we needed someone. And then I started falling in love with it. And this is one of my biggest passions right now. Awesome. We love your casting. We love your comments. You're an amazing duo, always making our Sundays happier. Now let's talk about a comparison between MK11 and the other games in the franchise. Speed, you still play a lot of classic MKs. What is the biggest difference between them and the current version? Oh, there's a big difference, especially because of the style of fighting games with more rhythm and pace. And nowadays, these games bring us frame data and information and tables or buttons. It gives you a competitive edge, but it makes it easier as well for people who have never played it before. However, with the classic versions, we had to play by ear. We had to test every button. We tried a fatality or a brutality, and we got the buttons wrong. But right now, games give you the resources, so they make it easier for people who want to learn how to play it. So this is a difference, and I think this is really positive. Now, Buiú, when we had arcade houses or arcade stores, did you know as much about MK? Or would you be a better player in the past if you knew everything that you know right now? Oh, Arthur, I think this is the biggest difference between the older generations and the current generations because we didn't have YouTube. With the inflow of information we have right now, it is easier to have head to head competitions and more fair competitions. In the past, it was about talent and writing the combos in a notebook and selling fatality inputs to your classmates. But now information can reach everyone. Competition in fighting games right now is a little tougher, or a lot tougher actually, a lot more competitive. We're trying these players not only for their talent, but also for their preparation. Yeah, at the time we didn't talk about frame data, right? We just played by ear. Yeah, for sure. Players were paying a lot of attention to their foe, not to the game per se. Now, with all the information we have and with all the technology, in these fighting games, we now pay a lot of attention to everything that is happening on the screen with the attacks, with the hits, and with the game as a whole, but we forget the main thing, which is getting in the head of your foe. That is why classic players like Cofero or Cabecinha or other players from other fighting games, old school players, are very good players still because they are able to play a lot of matches really well. And they are focused on the basics of fighting games, which is reading your opponent. Great, let's talk about our dear Latin League for Mortal Kombat Ultimate. Buiú, what have you seen in the journey of the Latin League? Because we are in the seventh stage, going to the eighth stage. So, what is the difference between this tournament and the tournaments we've had before? Oh, for sure, this new generation of players. Speed and I and everyone in fighting games are always talking about how hard it is to get new players. Compared to other fighting styles or actually other genres in gaming, we are a niche and we have this challenge of renewing our players, but MK is doing this perfectly. We see a beautiful new generation of players with a lot of new players. We've had a five-fold increase in registrations and also in audience numbers. This universe is growing not only for those who consume this product, but those who create it by playing it. And we have Gustavo Page and Vaca, under 20 players, players who are under 20 and who are, giving people a run for their money, even Shinnok and other amazing players. Wow, it's beautiful to think about this crossover between different generations, and we're revisiting this category. Now, what is the best thing about the Latin League right now, Speed? I think the Latin League is a tournament that gives a lot of opportunity for people, especially now that it's online and basically everything is automated right now. It makes it easier for people. And we're always emphasizing that and saying that people should register regardless of their level or regardless of where they're going to get. And we are seeing new names registering and giving people a run for their money, as Buiú was saying, even when competing against the giant players that we've had for 10 years. It is important to register and be a part of it because of that. And I mentioned that everything is automated, right? And this is a bit of an innovation. As I said, not only is it an innovation, but also an opportunity, because if you didn't know how to register before and you thought everything was hard, It's not. Everything is automated. And I think this is a brilliant idea from the team who is taking care of this program. Now, what do you think about characters that do not belong in the MK world, but who make special appearances? Well, I think one of the biggest hits by the NetherRealm Studios, the producer, is bringing characters from the movies to the games. And I think this is why MK has grown so much. We've been able to showcase the characters' personalities, traits, or even Easter eggs, and bring these details and add it to the gameplay. We see the Terminator with the time travel, we see the shotgun, we see the victory pose for the Terminator, and we see the motorcycle. It is nostalgic. And they are putting that as tools and as elements of the game. And it looks awesome because it feels like we're playing this character. We're not just playing a doll wearing Terminator clothes. We are playing the character. For example, with Rambo, he is a guerrilla fighter. So he's going to punch you in the face, he's going to throw rocks at you and use traps. Yeah, and everything we see for Rambo has to do with movies, right? They are basically Easter eggs for the movies. Yeah, his slide is a 5-second scene from Rambo #1, and they made it into an attack. Exactly. Same thing with the Joker. You can feel the character in his fatal blows and fatalities. And you go like, yeah, the Joker would do that. Yeah, I also love it. I think this was a brilliant idea, bringing pop culture into gaming culture and uniting these audiences, because I do see a lot of overlap. And I see some people saying, wow, I didn't really know anything about MK, but I've watched Rambo movies and Terminator movies. And as Buiú was saying, people want to control these characters and to feel the power of the weapons used by Rambo. The M60, right? Yeah, the giant M60. It was even famous because of other games. And people want to go in depth into the stories of these characters, not only with the attacks, but also fatalities and brutalities and opening sequences and finishing moves. And this is a way to bring communities together because sometimes they share traits in common and they are unaware of it. I think this was a brilliant idea by this producer. I'm for it. I want them to bring more characters into these games because this is only going to add value to it. And if you've met these characters through the games, of course you're going to watch the movies later. So I think this is the perfect match. Well, I haven't been to a face-to-face tournament, and I'm dying to do it. And we've met only online, right? We've never met in person. When the pandemic is over, hopefully the next tournaments will be face-to-face. Buiú and Speed, thank you so much. You've been amazing. You've learned a lot and you've done a lot for MK. I'm going to talk to pro players now. Thank you, Buiú, and thank you, Speed. Thank you for having us. Take care. Oh, and I got some news for you. If you're watching the 2021 Big Festival, you're getting special discounts for Mortal Kombat games. Go to the Warner booth on our website because at the Submarino website, you get a sale for the MK games. So at the Big Festival website, look for the Warner booth. Now we're going to talk to a beloved player from the MK community in Brazil, Killer Schnock. Hi everyone, how's it going? It's going well, man. Let me ask you something. People who love MK11 Ultimate know you, but in case they don't, please introduce yourself and talk about some of the championships you've been a part of. If you don't know me, I am basically an elder of fighting games. I've been participating in these tournaments for almost 11 years, 12 years in 2021. I started in 2012, actually. I was a winner in Brazil and in other countries as well. I was a part of the Twitch rivals, weekly tournaments, the Latin League, the Pro League as well. And with MK, I got others as well, and even the South American for Injustice. Now let's talk about to Conqueror, one of the biggest pro players for MK11 Ultimate in Brazil and abroad. Hi Arthur, how's it going? It's going well. It's always a pleasure to have you here for Warner Play. And it's great to see your matches. People are really supporting you. Now, for whoever is watching us and is not really familiar with the Latin League, can you please tell us about some of the tournaments you've won? Hi everyone, I'm Conqueror 249 and I play with Sub-Zero. If you don't know me, I am one of the Brazilian players for MK11. I've won a few championships like Treta, the biggest one in Brazil, powered by the community. I've also been a winner for the Latin League in Brazil and for the league in North America, which made sure I went to the World Cup. These are the most important ones. Now, let me invite Guy Exceptional to talk to one of the most influential pro players of MK11 in Brazil, with some of the best scores. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I've been played NetherRealm games since 2011 with Injustice 1, Injustice 2, MKX, and now MK11 Ultimate. And I was a part of EVO in 2016 with Shinnok, and I was in the top 48 or top 53, I think. I've also competed at Treta. I've been in every Latin American league, and I am in every online tournament, even the Latin American online tournament right now. Great, and everyone has their story on how they got started with MK. Do you remember your first game? Yes, of course. I was a child. I can't even remember how old I was, but I remember I had a classic NES. Me and my sister and my dad got us MK4, and I loved it. It's all I wanted to play. And I remember that I stepped on the cartridge and I ruined it. And I cried so much. I remember it vividly because I couldn't believe it, and my dad had to get me another one. Yeah, when I was really little, I was playing MK 1, 2, and 3. And my cousins and my dad would play it in Super Nintendo. But at the time, we were just pressing buttons, we still had cartridges. And we would play over the weekend because we would lease these cartridges. And I was small, I was a child. But with specific knowledge, MK9 was the first one with PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Well, let me tell you first about MK and then about competitions. The first MK game I played was in Master System 3, and it was MK2. And it drew me in. It was really sinister. I had never seen a game like that. And I didn't own many games. I was 7 at the time, so I didn't have many options. But it really drew me in. And my brother and I would spend a long time playing MK and trying to figure out fatalities. And we only figured out one. My brother figured it out for Jax. Without the magazines? Yeah, without the magazines, but it was easy. It was arrow, arrow, A. So this was an easy one. But the atmosphere and the mystery were amazing because we knew there were secrets there. We know we could go invisible with the reptile, but we didn't know how. And this is why we were so in love with it. Now, when it comes to competitions, I had never went deeply into competitions. I had never gone deeply into competitions. And I got an Xbox 360 and MK9, and that is when I started really going into this universe. Okay, so your second stage with MK was with MK9. Got it. Now, what about competitions? Because right now we have the pandemic and tournaments are taking place online. However, you've been to many offline competitions. What is the difference? I would say it's about the pressure, because when you're home playing online, you feel comfortable. You're using your chair. You may have your family, your wife, your kids around. It's your comfort zone. However, with offline tournaments, with maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people looking at you, it's different. It's a lot more pressure. I think this is the biggest difference. You know what? Online tournaments are good and they are really helpful because we can prepare for it. We can do well and we can get to face tournaments with a lot of preparation in technical training and skills. But with face to face tournaments, we get the jitters because we're sitting right next to our competition. And if you're inexperienced, you may be shaking. I used to shake a lot when I was getting started. So I think that's the biggest difference. With online tournaments, I always tell people that if you lose, that's okay. You just turn your console off and that's it. But with offline tournaments, it is a bit more stressful, a lot more stressful actually, because you have to travel somewhere and not be home, and you feel the pressure, you feel the jitters, you have to see the audience and hear the noise. I think these are the biggest differences from online and offline tournaments. Yeah, and with Brazilian events, you're usually facing the biggest pro players in Brazil, but then you have to face the pro players in the world with online events and you get the jitters again, right? Yeah, you have to take it step by step. You have to get started actually playing locally in your city. For example, in São Paulo, you may be playing in a district of Jabaquara or in the district of, I don't know, Vila Mariana, and then you go to Rio in another city, and then you go to Brazilian tournaments, which are a little bit harder. And then you move ahead and you go to other tournaments in Latin America and beyond. As you play more, you get more experienced. And there's no silver bullet for feeling calm. You have to play a lot, you have to develop your skills, and you have to accrue experience. There's no magic recipe. Yeah, there's no meditation, right? For that. No, there isn't. The key is to just go for it and experiment and play a lot. This is the only way of making progress in face to face events. Yeah, we have a few differences because when playing online, of course, we have lagging. We do see some lagging with the attacks, for example, and we're used to that. But I really, really miss the in person competition. I miss the audience. I miss standing up and just, celebrating. Because at home, you win and there's nothing. The euphoria is not there, the adrenaline is not there. I really miss that. And I think this fuels me. The competition, the adrenaline, facing your foe face to face. I love it. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to go back to that and to playing MK11 face to face when we go back to offline competitions. You've had a long journey with MK, from MK2, for example, to competitions. So what does MK represent to you? Oh, it's one of my biggest passions. Even before being a competitor, I played every Mortal Kombat. I started with MK2, then 1, then 3, then Ultimate, and then 4. And 4 is my favorite. And people say it sucks, but no, I think it's amazing. We had the Deadly Alliance, and I didn't like it very much. Deception is amazing. Shaolin Monks. We had Armageddon with, some coarse fatalities, but it's a lot of characters as well, so that's good. And then MK9, and they just got better. MK is always surprising me, and I hope for a new MK one day, but we don't know when or if they're going to release a new MK because they may come up with another game. And NetherRealm is usually very private when it comes to new launches. But my goal with MK is to always hope for the next one because it is a part of my life. I want it to get older with me as I get older. I want it to be a part of my life forever. Wow, Arthur, this is a deep, deep question because MK for me is about nostalgia and childhood and competition. Without MK right now, I don't know what I'd be doing because I wake up and I think about the game. I go to bed and I think that the next day I have to train with a certain character or against a certain competitor. So MK is my life right now. Right now, MK is really important to me. I always tell my family that I never thought I would travel abroad. I never even thought that I would travel beyond the city of São Paulo, but MK has brought a lot to my life, as well as injustice. I was able to travel beyond my city and my country and meet a lot of people and know people who share in the same passion as me, video games. Going to these events and talking about these characters, talking about balance patches, and talking about all of this with other people is amazing. So MK has brought a lot of value to my life. Without it, I don't think I would have reached the level that I have of traveling abroad and meeting other people who love the same thing I do. So MK is no longer just a video game for me. It's gone beyond that. MK is everything to me right now. And you have so many supporters. We see it in the chat. We see people rooting for you. And when you represent Brazil abroad, they go crazy. So, do you have a message for the people who support you? Sure, yeah. Ronaldinho style. Thank you so much, guys. Every time I'm playing, I try to check the chat, and people love that I play with Sub-Zero and love watching me play. And I'm really happy to have these supporters, to have people around me who root for me and enjoy seeing me play. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And that's it. Keep supporting me, please. And yeah, thank you so much, Ronaldinho style again. Thank you so much, Gui Exceptional. Thank you for the wise words and the knowledge about this game. Thank you, everyone. And just enjoy the tournaments, no hate, no hating. Just support your favorite player, support players overall, and support the community that is bringing these tournaments to you. Because we didn't have all the support that we're getting right now a few years back. So it's important for you to support Warner, the NetherRealm, and everyone who is playing. Thank you so much, Killer Schnock, for sharing so much information with us. Oh, first, I'd like to apologize because people say, well, whenever I'm supporting you, I almost have a heart attack because you only win, last minute. So I apologize. Well, but that's more interesting. Yeah, I will try and stay in the top 8. And it's not easy. We see big champions going down. So we do need to keep up the good work. With the Latin League, I'm going to use Jackie. People were asking if I was going to use other characters, and I was using other characters in other tournaments. And I do want to have fun with this game, but I need to make sure I do well with the Jacking League. So yeah, I'm going to play Jackie or maybe another character I'm really used to. And thank you for supporting me. And this community has grown so much with MK11. With MKX or Injustice, I never thought that we would get to this level. Great. Thank you very much, Killer Schnock. Pleasure having you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Gui Exceptional, Killer Schnock, and Conqueror. Thank you so much for being here. It was really interesting to hear about your relationship with our dear, dear MK. Thank you to Speed and Buiú as well, the big casters for MK. And remember that the finals for the Latin League will take place on the 5th of June. Yes, we're going to broadcast it live on TV. And if you are watching the big festival, please enjoy our sales because we have a sale going on at the Submarino website. You can get more information at our booth at the big festival. So please look for the Warner Media booth to get information about these sales. because you can play MK11 today if you haven't yet. Thank you very much again to everyone. Great being at the big festival, and we'll see you at the Warner Play. We have a lot of content for MK Ultimate over there. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next.
Big Festival 2021, the biggest games festival in Latin America.